Rule 3 of 5. We're now going on to rule 3 of 5. Rule 3 of 5. And that is the quadrant swap. So the first rule that we did was the quadrant rule, where I taught you which quadrant to use, either the 90 or 270 or the 180 and 360. The second rule that we did just before this was the negative angle. Sine of a negative angle minus sine of the angle. Tan of a negative angle minus tan of the angle. Cos of a negative angle, positive cos of that angle. We now go on to the quadrant swap. Now watch this. This is what it looks like. So if they tell you sine x minus 270 degrees. Okay, now there are many ways in which your teachers will try and explain to you what needs to be done. Now, in all the previous ones, we had it looking like this. We said sine 270 minus x. You always had the quadrant and you had the angle. In this case, you got the angle, now you have the quadrant. So that's it's called the quadrant swap. We are now going to swap the two over. Now I'm going to show you two methods of doing this. I'm going to show you the long way and I'm going to show you the shortcut. Obviously, you're going to be using the shortcut in the exam. Both of them marks will be allocated. Both of them are correct. Okay. So, if we say sine x minus 270, we now swap the two around because we want it. So that becomes sine, use a square bracket, swap the two, minus 270 plus x. Now we don't, this is not algebra guys, we don't take the negative sign outside. We make it a negative angle inside the brackets. So we make a negative angle inside the brackets. So watch what happens now. We're now going to have sine, square brackets, there we go, minus into 270. Now both the signs change. Minus 270 becomes plus 270 in the brackets, plus x becomes minus x. Okay. What do we know, guys? Here's it. Here's your negative angle now. There is your negative angle. That's your angle. Negative angle. We made it a negative angle. So we swap the two quadrants around. We swap the angle and the quadrant around. And we made it a negative angle. Now, we ask ourselves, sine of a negative angle. Now we go back to the previous rule. What do we know about sine of a negative angle? It's minus sine of the angle. There we go. Minus sine. We take that minus, we take it to the front. Sine of a negative angle minus sine of that angle. Now, 270. Does the name stay or does the name change? Right? Remember, 90 and 270, name changes. 180, 360, name stays. So, sine 270, the name will change. So, you've got minus sine 270, the name will change to cos x. The name changes. Sine will change to cosine, cosine will change to sine. So, that becomes minus cos x. 270 minus is in this quadrant here. Is in that quadrant. 270 minus is in quadrant number 3. What do we know about sine? Only tan is positive. So what do we know about sine in this quadrant? Sine is negative. So negative times this negative that you have here, your answer is just cos x. Right? Positive cos x. Because negative times a negative will give you positive cos x. And there we go. That's how you will reduce. That's, you swap it over, make a negative angle inside the brackets. Ask yourself, sine of a negative angle minus sine of the angle. Now reduce it. Sine 270, the name changes to cos x. 270 minus is in your third quadrant. Sine in your third quadrant is negative. Negative times the negative that you have here gives you positive. So your answer there is positive cos x. I hope you've taken this one down. What happens, you might ask, but Mr. K, what happens if you have cos x minus 270? So let's try another example in the quadrant swap. Let's try cos x minus 270 and let's see how that one pans out. So now we have example number 2. So I tell you cos x minus 270. So we apply the same rule. The principle is exactly the same. It might be tweaked along the line, but the principle and the rule stays exactly the same. So let's go back. We're now going to have cos. What did I say? Swap the two around. Minus 270 plus x. Okay, so that becomes cos. I said use the square brackets. Make it a negative angle in the brackets. So minus into minus 270 plus 270 plus x becomes minus x. There we go. Cos of a negative angle. Cos of a negative angle. Now from our negative angle rules, and I'm going to keep on telling you and repeating these phrases so that it's branded on your mind. Cos of a negative angle, what did I tell you? Cos of a negative angle is positive. So here we go. Cos of a negative angle is positive. That negative falls away. Why? Because of our previous rule. We know cos of a negative angle is positive cos of that angle. That was our rule. That was the previous rule. Rule 2 of 5, if you go back, cos of a negative angle, positive cos. The negative just falls away. So there, the negative falls away. We're left now with cos 270 minus x. Now we reduce it. Cos 270, cosine 270, the name will change to sine x. 270 minus is in my third quadrant. 270 minus is in my third quadrant. What do I know about cos? Don't look at the changed one. Look at the original. What do I know about cos in my third quadrant? Only tan is positive. That means cos must be negative. And your answer there would be minus sine x. So here we go, boys and girls. You had rule 1, rule 2, rule 3. We did 2 examples in rule 3. We're going to do rule 4 and 5 before we actually attack, and we take all these rules and we apply it to a big exam type problem. Okay, we're coming to the end of our third segment, almost at the end of the show. Guys, stay tuned to ITV. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. We're taking a 3-minute break. I'll see you after the break.